Hey, Cave Dwellers, we're back again, and today we have Michael Hinson. So, tell him about some of the stuff you do. I guess.
So, tell them about some of the stuff you do. So, some of the stuff I do is when I get bored, I start a new company. That's the thing that I do.
Okay.
So, I started writing a comic back in January called The Disputed Territory. It's set in the 1840s. So it's Western-based initially. It gets into some supernatural. Whiskey gives him powers. He turns out other spirits give him different powers. So it's more supernatural than superhero kind of thing. It's a bad to worse Oedipus type story. So I started writing that in January. I got through a couple of episodes. I needed to ship those out, and I didn't like any of the other shippers that were on the market. I wanted it to be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Comic Shield came about. So that's kind of the second venture I got into. Is I used to do box design way back in my career early on, and so I started writing a comic, needed to ship the comic, wanted it to be my branded thing. So I came up with Comic Shield.
You want it done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we show that?
We could if I had one in front of me.
Like
Like magic.
Like magic. Here you go.
So Comic Shield was created with basically the end consumer and the folks shipping these in mind, and the ultimate objective is to keep comics safe, right? So get them there, but also to store them, keep them safe over time, and again, so lots of interviews and lots of testing. We came up with the friction tab concept. So you have you can store one, you can store up to 12 of them, depending on the thickness of the book, right? We just doubled up. So these are double rollovers. So you've got like triple enforced edges, right? So your mailman can't bend this and fold it and put it in. Everybody's been online and seen some of the horror stories of what has happened to comics during shipping. So we're
had
trying
it
to
happen to
combat
ourselves.
that. Pardon?
We've had it happen to us, so.
Right. So look, you can't keep somebody from running over it with a truck, but short of that, I can, do everything we can do to keep things safe in their transit. And these are the blanks here, so this is just kind of the standard that we have. And the other thing we wanted to do is eliminate all the excessive tape and bubble wrap and all those things. This is built to hold raw comics, obviously, and it's also the perimeter here is the size of a slab. So we have a second box that's coming here in the next couple of weeks that's for slab shipping, easy for me to say. So you can do a combination of this and slabs or just slabs. So it's kind of a system, if you will. And we can also do complete custom printing on these. So there's a whole variety of different price points depending on what you want to do, 4-color process, blah, blah, blah. So
we will be using these now in all of our loot boxes to keep our comics safe now.
So we got a lot of it's exciting stuff. It's new. We're working through some manufacturing things and making sure we get it all right. Obviously, we've shipped 20,000 of these so far. Great feedback all in all. Like failure rate has been less than 1%. So so far so good. Great feedback. Even the negative feedback has been really good. If you're not looking at all feedback, then you're not growing, is the way I look at it. So it's all about continuing to get better. And I kind of derailed from the Disputed Territory, but essentially this is a hotter thing than my book. My book just kind of made this happen. The book is the thing I'm passionate about, right? So it's the thing I'm writing. But this has been a fun, like, how did I fall into this kind of thing?
Yeah.
But it's I think it's really cool to be able to have your end customer have something to unveil when they get it and know that they're going to get it and it's going to be protected. And so that's kind of the backbone of that element.
Yeah. Okay, so I got another question for you.
Sure.
How do you like your hot dogs?
I'm fairly plain, so I like mustard, and I'll do a Chicago, so it kind of has all the dressing too. That's always good. But I'll just take a plain. I like it charred though. I like it to be backyard charred up a little bit.
All right. So who was your favorite superhero growing up?
Growing up, I'm probably going to have to say Superman. My first Halloween costume that I can remember was Superman, so I got to go with Superman as my initial favorite. Over the years, I kind of like most of them. I'm a Deadpool and Hellboy guy now. That's what I love today. But
Yeah.
as a kid, you can't go wrong. Batman was also up high on the list as well.
Outside of comics, what other interests do you have?
Well, art has kind of been a part of every level of my life. So I've been doing art since I was a kid. Started with sketching in notepads, kind of graduated up to every medium you can imagine, and my entire career is kind of based around graphic design. And so at every stop that I've had in my career and everything I've done, art's been a part of it. So art is absolutely, even though it's a career thing, it's definitely the thing I'm most passionate about, and it's been a part of every phase of my life. I used to bowl. That was something fun that I did, but career and life and things like that have kind of made that a secondary thing.
So apparently you remind Marty or Droolpool of a comedian. So who's your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian is got to be Dave Chappelle. It's got to be Dave Chappelle. He's such a... It's just hilarity all the time. I got a lot of favorites. Dave's up on the list.
All right. So, well, since we're interviewing, if you could interview anybody in the comic industry, dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And I feel like this is a super generic answer, but Stan Lee is probably who I would want to interview the most. A lot of reasons for that. It's kind of an obvious guy to go to, I guess, but just fascinating life and career. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with that interview.
Yeah, you really couldn't. What's the last thing you watched on Netflix?
Last thing I watched on Netflix, I've been really Amazoning a lot. Prime lately. Man, I'm drawing a blank at what I mean, Stranger Things is probably the thing I've enjoyed the most off Netflix.
What's the last thing you watched on Prime then?
I'm currently watching The Boys, and the last thing I finished up was Utopia, which I think is fantastic, by the way. That one, it's so dark, though.
I've seen season 2 of Stranger Things. I haven't seen either of what you just said. So
they're
The Boys.
They're both really dark, really hardcore shows. So yeah,
I'm not into watching streaming services, so it's just not my thing. But
that's fine. I could probably live without them. And social media for that matter, but hey,
you gotta advertise.
Gotta advertise. That's right.
All right. Well, thank you for. Oh yeah, you can plug your. You can do some plugs.
Well, in terms of, I feel like the whole thing was a plug. So thedisputedterritory.com on social media for my book is The Disputed Territory on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I don't do Twitter. I just think it's evil. Sorry, it is what it is.
It's fair.
I'm also on YouTube with Comic Shield, but under that, Gamma Shield is my @ on both Instagram and Facebook there. comic-shield.com. I'm just working my tail off, grinding away, and trying to have some fun while doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you
so much.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Well, that's we got one more interview, right? Yeah, I think we got one more interview, and that will be when?
I thought this was a save the best for last kind of situation.
It was originally. Then we rescheduled a lot.
It's awesome.
See y'all in a bit.